What's up, Exiles? Alex here from Computer Headquarters, and we've got Legacy of Phrecia coming out tomorrow. I've had a couple of people messaging me say they need some guidance basically for the Tri-Charge Stacker that I made videos about last league. It was, I think, the best build. Literally, I think it's the best build. So I know some other people agreed with me. They played it. They're like, wow, I want to do this again. I want to start from scratch. How do I do it? What can I do? We've got new ascendancies. Things are different. Let's talk about it. So first of all, right off the bat, I kind of need your guys' help too. I'm going to say a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be a little bit unorganized and just throw things at the wall. And maybe you guys can help me figure out exactly what I'm going to do, because I'm getting super almost maybe frustrated because I can't figure out what I want to do. I might just have to pick at the last second, but maybe you guys can comment on this video and give me some, like, just tell me what you're going to do and why, and some suggestions to help me figure out what I'm going to do. So let's go to POB. Hopefully this is the right one to open. Yeah, so this is this POB right here. Let me just make sure it's sized correctly for the OBS window. Yeah, okay. This is my V3. This is like where I ended at the end of the season. The crazy powerful double charged helmet, all that stuff. So 360 million damage, and my hit pool was 1.8 million. This is with Immortal Call Up. So let's actually turn, for the sake of it might help for some of our decision making, let's turn Immortal Call off because it's not always up, and that brings our Fizz max hit to 600k, and the elementals in the 750 to 900 range ish. So regen also is good to look at because we're going to be comparing that to other ascendancies, so around 2000. There's plenty of other things to talk about, but I'm just trying to get through a video and get some ideas out there, right? So let's switch now to there's 3 different ways that I say that you probably would want to play this build now that Slayer is not available. So let's start with the Paladin. So the Paladin has a lot of potential to be much different than the Slayer and awesome at the same time. He's a duelist, so you still can get the Masterful Form with a Flesh Flame. That does mean you need to have a couple jewel sockets opened up, and I, unfortunately, on this exact demo, this one right here, this isn't perfect. Like I would need to take out a couple jewels to simulate it a little bit better, but you get the idea. It's less damage, 245, but it has a lot more ES regen, and it's let's turn off the Immortal Call on this one too. Where is my Immortal Call? It's right here. Turn that off. You can see it's a little bit less tanky, slightly, but I mean, these are very slight differences. This would still be a great build. Now, my buddy Dave, who I talk about in like every video because he's way better at POE than me, he helps me with all my builds. He played with the Paladin, and he said that if you go with, sorry, let me go to this window for you guys. Sorry, I'm jumping around. I'm trying to stay organized and having a hard time. If you drop one of these things I have selected here for the Ascendancy and go with the taunt thing up here with War Cries have infinite power, you can throw 2 War Cries in and they will last a long time, and you can actually get a lot more damage and drop a lot of things on the tree to open up more skill points. And he said he could even get, I think he said he got the damage more up to like 400 million, but it does require you to War Cry. I kind of don't want to War Cry, so I'm not leaning toward doing this, but maybe I probably should, but I just don't want to. But the really cool thing about Paladin is this regen 2% of life per second, and then some non-curse aura stuff is nice on top of that, but this is from your small notables on the Ascendancy itself. 2% of life per second, it's amazing. So yeah, you could also mix in, depending on how you want to do these Ascendancies, you can mix in Consecrated Ground for even more regen, but you can get your regen up really crazy, and you can drop a lot of stuff on the tree that was regen related. And he said that you can even drop this Impossible Escape that I'm taking here. All of these things you don't need anymore, and there's just a way to get more points to put somewhere else. So that's cool, right? So let's talk about the next guy, which is the Aristocrat. Big Daddy Gaming calls him the Aristocrat, and I kind of think it's funny. I like it. So the Aristocrat, he has what's showing here, 426 million damage. I realized that I found out later that this was incorrect because in my config box, I accidentally put this from the Ascendancy, but I also manually did 15%. So we need to take that off. And then you see the damage drop down to 334 million. So it's less damage. And there's some pros and cons to the Aristocrat. I'm going to keep saying Aristocrat. But it is showing my ES regen is less. And that I think if I turn Immortal Call off on this guy as well, we'll see that I'm less tanky on Fizz, but quite a bit more tanky on other stuff. So I actually don't remember why off the top of my head. I've just been flooded with information, but it's got to be, it's going to be something to do with the levels from the skill gems. So I'm getting more tanky from something. It's not from Immortal Call because we have that turned off. Maybe it's from like Arctic Armor being super buffed up. Maybe it's from, let's see, it's not this stuff, but Frost Shield maybe. Let's see, where's my Frost Shield? Frost Shield getting the extra level maybe is taking a lot more damage because I do have it turned on right now. Between those two things is probably something like that. I don't know. Maybe you guys are gonna think about, you missed something, but this is a very viable option, right? The damage is close, the tankiness is close. This is playable. This would be fun. You're not gonna have a bad time on Aristocrat. I would say that this is a good choice. And you also, because of the extra points you get, you can have a whole nother cluster. So you can move some stuff around, have a third cluster going with a bunch more of these damage nodes, or even a different type of, you can do all sorts of stuff that this extra cluster, these extra points open up, so you can be super powerful. So great option in my opinion, but again, you can still take Masterful Form. So that's really important to mention, is that Paladin and Aristocrat both have Masterful Form available to them with the Flesh Flame combo. Now let's go to Scavenger, which is going to be quite a bit different because the Scavenger, it has no access to the Masterful Form. It's a much different style, and let's blow up the config here. So I would be taking Cloak of Flame. So now that you're not getting the endurance charges because you're not getting the Masterful Form, this is going to kind of make up for that. You're going to be taking 40% of physical damage as fire, and actually this got updated today. So it says from hits. Today, GGG announced that that's being changed, so it's just all physical, not just hits, just like Cloak of Flame body armor. So that's good news for anyone playing this Ascendancy. I selected Gain Adrenaline here because I just don't know, nothing else here is great, and I'll talk about this one more time in a second, but for the regular build that I was playing, that's the only thing I could think of. It's nice for mapping, but when you're bossing, you're not going to be getting the Adrenaline. And then, of course, we're taking the power charge here with the Void Battery. That's a given. And then you really are going to want to go for this. This is something I actually didn't even know about, but Scion has something called Unleashed Potential. It's a hidden notable with Flesh Flame, and you get a +1 power charge off of this as well. So this is really cool. So you can get 2 power charges off of your tree with Scion. So you could have 15 power charges instead of 13 that I had on Slayer. So no endurance charges. I think you make up for that with the Flame, Cloak of Flame, and then you can get 2 more power charges. So you can see here my damage is lower, but I think it's still a really good build. I don't think I turned Immortal Call off quite yet on here, so let's do that because I've been doing that for everybody. So you can see my Fizz max hit is still a lot. All my hits are a lot less. My damage is less, but I think this would just be fun to play. My regen is similar here, so I was kind of leaning towards playing Scavenger. I haven't convinced myself yet though, because I do think one thing that could be really cool about Aristocrat, the quality of skill gems and the +1 level is going to feel really strong early on Frenzy of Onslaught because it scales really well with quality. And one thing also to mention with that is if you're on a budget, because everyone's going to be on a budget early, it's going to sound funny, but Frenzy of Onslaught, you would only need to, assuming you bought like a 21-0 or something like that, or maybe it's just the first one you get is a level 20, because you're on a budget, and then maybe it's just a 20-0 quality, and you have to manually gem cutter it. You could stop at 15 because it actually goes in batches of 10. I think I even have this open on my another window over here. No, I don't. I closed it. But I had Frenzy of Onslaught open, and I think I can quickly pull it back. Yeah, here we go. Watch, we'll switch we'll switch browser only. Yeah, Frenzy of Onslaught. It's per 10 quality, you get these things. So you can just go to 35. So if you stop at 15 and then you get 15 from Aristocrat, Ascendancy, you're at 30. You don't need to go higher. I know it sounds funny to think about this, but like I'm going to be on the budget for a while probably. Maybe that 15 won't matter, but yeah. So Aristocrat could be really good early. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I think I'm not saying Scavenger is going to be bad early. I'm going back to POB here. I just don't think it will be as good because you're getting all that extra free power out of the Ascendancy itself. And then if you think about the power you're going to get from, Scavenger, for instance, like this isn't going to be here. So all you're really getting is this power charge and some spell damage, which isn't going to help you until I think, I could be saying this wrong, guys, but I think Crown of Thorns is how that helps you. And so you don't have a Crown of Thorns, then this just isn't that great. So Aristocrat's probably better. Yeah. So, okay. Let's talk about... Wait, did I have one more? No, I think this is it. V3, Paladin, Aristocrat, and Scav. Yeah. So let's go back to a browser because there's some things I'm probably going to want to jib-jab about here before I'm done. Yeah. So I don't know what I want to do. I'm really torn because nothing really seems like great. I know that a lot of people are saying things like, oh, this Legacy of Phrecia is basically any build that you liked before, it will just be better. And unfortunately for Tri-Charge Stacker, I don't see it that way. Maybe the Paladin angle by using the Warcry thing. I just don't really want a Warcry. So I just had a hard time figuring out what I want to do. Scavenger sounds fun, but okay, let me get back to where I need to get on track here. Sorry, guys. I'm on track now. I remember exactly what I need to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about how to get into Tri-Charge stacking. So last league I made, it's still this league, I made this video. POE try stack Slayer early league almost start. So I was like, how much of a shoestring budget can you get Tri-Charge going with? And I was pretty stoked to see that I could get it going on a really tight budget. But I wasn't really taking into account a real league start in my head at the time because Ralcash boots, I think when I made this video, were probably like 30C. They were all over the place. I actually just looked them up yesterday or the day before, and they were like 3 Divine again because no one's playing. But when everyone's playing, they get really cheap eventually. But at the beginning of the league, they're like 20 Divine. They're really expensive. And this event might be even more expensive. I wouldn't be surprised. So there's 4 things you need to get online, okay? You need Ralcash boots, expensive. Ephemeral Edge, I think will be by the time you can afford the Ralcash boots, this should be pretty cheap. I don't think it should be over Divine. I could be wrong. Malachai's Loop, these drop like crazy. I think I dropped like 100 of these last league. They just drop on the ground all the time. So you might just drop one even before the Ralcash boots. You just might have your own, so you don't even have to buy it. And then you need a Badge of the Brotherhood. I have no idea how expensive Badge of the Brotherhood is going to be because I've never shot for one early league. You guys might be able to tell me in the comments, but are they 20 Divine like Ralcash boots early? Do you need to drop 40 Divine? Is it a 50 Divine budget to get going? I don't really know. I hope it's a lot less. And I do know if you wait like a week to 2 weeks, all of this will become cheaper. You might grab Ralcash for... I know when I grabbed mine last league, I think at the time, I paid 12 Divine, and then they just kept dropping. So I think I paid that at like the end of week 1. But nothing else that I'm wearing on this right here is required. I've got 2 rare rings that are just for resist. Surge Binders just for more damage. Graven Secret, you're going to want to get that as soon as you can. Graven Secret's amazing. You want that before Surge Binders even. Crown of Thorns can be really helpful. But, Flask, yeah, of course you want some Flask going. But you really, to say like, hey, I'm actually going to be able to play and kill stuff, you need the Ralcash boots. You need the Badge of the Brotherhood. You need the Malachai's Loop. You need the Ephemeral Edge. Those 4 things. You, of course, also need Frenzy of Onslaught, which might be expensive. So, how do you get from 0 to here? That's my problem. That's why I said I need your advice, guys, because I I'm super torn. You know, the really great start is Blind Prophet. I think very clearly Blind Prophet. So let's open Blind Prophet right here. Fubgun has guides out, and why am I missing it? It's right here. Super overpowered early, guys. I mean, you start here, you take this note, and then you go to here. Base crit chance goes up to 12 on any weapon. Amazing. There's people talking about using Paradoxica with like Frost Blades. That'll be super good. But Lightning Strike is just going to be insane. You can start here, you get your next lab at around 55, and now you have Nimbus. Amazing, dude. So much power for just your Ascendancy class, and then your next point, you can come down here and take 2 more projectiles. This is actually, I think even Fubgun actually didn't say to do it in this order, but this is how I was looking at it. I think he actually said to start with, let's see, which one was it? I think Shapeless maybe? I can't remember which. He has like if you watch Fubgun's video, if you want to do this and just have a great league start, go watch his videos. He's way better than what I'm talking about. But that's the hard part. You know, do you start with a different class than what you want to play? Level, farm up a bunch of currency, and then when you have 50 divine that you saved up or 20 divine, whatever it was, and you start buying Ralakash, all these pieces, and then you got the 4 pieces I just said you actually need. Then you go level your Scion or your Aristocrat or whatever, and make 2 characters. It's probably less painful to do it that way, and you'll just have a smooth time. Or do you struggle a little bit and play something like, let's say you go Scavs. This just put out a video guide today about playing Power Siphon, Locust Mines, and he says it's great on Scavenger. So you could do that. You could do Frostblades build with Scavenger as well, and you could do Fury Valve as your final Uber Lab. The problem is you have to be able to get to the Uber Lab and beat the Uber Lab. So because Fury Valve is the last Ascendancy point. Hopefully, if that doesn't make sense to you, I'll help. Scav, right here, show. So unfortunately, there's 3 different pictures for this, but you start here. For Scavenger, you take 1-2 points. This is your first lab, right? You took 2 points and you got nothing. You got a couple passive skill points. You finish your next lab at 55 or whatever, and now you finally get something from this group right here. So you can take Stasis Prison, Cloak of Flame, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people probably take Fox Shade just for leveling. And then when you do your next lab, which is like around Katava, around 60, 70, you have to pick between going down or going, sorry, I said down. Down's down here. Down here or up here, right? And that's this. So this picture shows all this stuff, and this. So here's Void Battery. You might even want to take Obliteration instead if you're leveling for Explodes. And then down, you would have nothing that great, in my opinion, so I'm not even going to talk about it. But then you'd finally, so this is, getting back to what I was saying, this is Lab 1. This is Lab 2. These are required. Lab 3 is either here or here. So now you're finally getting to Uber Lab. You've already beat the campaign type of thing, typically. And you're finally being able to pick something from the far right. You can't go Lab 1. Sorry, I'm going to do this so you guys can see better. You can't go Lab 1, Lab 2, Lab 3, Lab 4. It doesn't work. Because 1, 2 points, 3, 4 points, 5, 6 points. Remember, you only get 8 points, right? So 7, 8, right? If you went the other direction, so if you went, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can't go 7, 8, 9. See what I mean? You can't do that. You can't take up and down and skip right. You have to go left and then down and then right, or left and then up and right. That's the only way to do it. So sorry if a lot of people already knew what I'm talking about, and if you didn't, you might be like, thank you for saying that because I would have made a huge mistake. So finally you can get Fury Valve or something like that over on the far right at the end, or maybe Leadership's Price would be fun. And I did mean to talk about this more later or earlier when I was talking about Scavenger with the tri-stack, but maybe there's a world where, because none of these things are that great for Scavenger. I'm taking Death's Rush right now for Adrenaline. Maybe there's a world where you try to make your dex equal your int, which then you probably have to lower your int and have less ES, but maybe there's a world where you want to play that and you get this note. Maybe this would be super strong. Maybe it'd be way more damage. And then maybe there's even a world where you try to get your strength equal to, and you do like a rational doctrine build. That could be cool. But I don't know. I haven't really explored that enough yet. So I'm getting off track, and this is what I've been doing lately is I keep blabbing and rambling. I'm talking to my friends trying to figure out what I should do. Do I go with like the Fub Gun Blind Prophet? Do I start Scavenger and play Scavenger all the way through and just have one character and upgrade him when I'm ready? Do I play the Aristocrat and, play whatever, Lightning Strike or something, whatever it is on the Aristocrat or the Paladin? I just can't. I keep waffling back and forth. What are you guys? Please tell me what you're gonna do. Are you gonna play, whatever Ascendancy are you gonna play Tri-Charge, and you're going to start with that Ascendancy and play it all the way through and respec when you're ready, or are you gonna start on something like a Blind Prophet or a Whisperer and just be super powerful early and then transfer into it, make a new character when you're ready? I really want to hear what you guys how you're going to do it and why. I'd love to hear the why. Seriously, I really want to know. So that's the end of my video. I know I got super rambly at the end there, but I hope you guys enjoy the conversation. Talk to you next one.